Today we're baking apple pie.
From scratch.
This is my friend Dorian, and he's here to help us make some apple pie today. And since he's here on the channel, my father make him his own apron.
Oh, thank you. I'll put my apron on. Oh yeah. How do you put this thing?
We're going to be doing this video in 3 parts. First the filling, then the dough, and then we're going to be combining them together. So first for the filling, you're going to need
10 apples, cinnamon sugar made of 1 cup of sugar and a tablespoon of cinnamon, and a tablespoon of tapioca flour or cornstarch. We're using tapioca flour just because we had it lying around. For our filling, we're gonna peel these apples and then cut them into slices.
Once you've finished cutting up all your apples, you're going to take your cinnamon sugar and put it in the bowl with the apples.
When adding the cinnamon sugar, make sure to add the starch.
What that's going to do is bring out all the liquids from inside the apples, and we're going to use that as a caramel inside of the apple pie. So just let that sit for about 30 minutes. So we're just going to put this aside for the time being, and we're going to move on to part 2, making the crust.
The ingredients needed for this crust will be 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, a half tablespoon of sugar, and 4 tablespoons of butter. Cube the butter, and I'll mix everything into the food processor bowl.
So now you're just going to use the pulse setting on your food processor, and you're going to get the butter down to little pea-sized bits. Once the only butter bits that you can feel are about pea-sized, add about 5 tablespoons of cold water and another 5 tablespoons of cold butter as well. So now before the dough starts to form inside of the food processor, put it on whatever you're baking on and mush it together until it forms a dough. We didn't end up adding enough water. As you can see in the video, it's not really forming a dough. So just add as much water as you need until it starts to form. Just add about a tablespoon at a time. Now just cut your dough into 4 different pieces and put it into the fridge for about 30 minutes. So by now the apples should be more or less dry. So we're going to take our juices, put it into a pan and reduce it by putting it on a flame and boiling it. So after you've chilled them, we're going to take them out and we're going to roll them super thin and layer them on top of our pie thingies. When you're putting the dough onto the pan, it's very important that you don't just push down because you will tear the dough. So what you want to do is lift the edges and then push in. Once you've got the dough layered into the pan, just divide the apples evenly. And then we're going to take the reduced juices that we have here and pour it in.
So before we put the top on, we're going to put some slices of butter. After we put the butter, we put the top on, then we trim it a little and tuck it under.
After you've pressed down all the edges, you're going to want to puncture small little slits at the top so that way all of the steam has a way to exit and it doesn't just burst your pie open.
Now to help with a little browning of the pie, I'm going to add some milk, of course. Put some on top and then put some sugar on top.
Now that we've got all of that done, we're going to get some tin foil and wrap it around the edges of the pie pan. So now we're going to put the pie into the oven at 425 degrees for 50 minutes. So after the 50 minutes, you're going to take off the tin and leave it in there for another 10 minutes. So our pies are done and they came out great.
Guys, we really appreciate you joining our video today and watching how to make an apple pie.
I hope that if you try it at home, it turns out great. Let us know how it goes in the comments. See you next time.
Bye.